America. On today's segment of Point-Counterpoint, we'll be discussing the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. This breaking news had happened 56 years ago, and the mystery of who did it is still going on. Did Oswald think of this devious plan all alone, or did he have help? According to Michael Croth, Lee Harvey Oswald started his day at 6:30 a.m., where then he leaves his wedding ring and $170 in a cup on his wife's bedroom dresser. Then he got a ride and told the driver that the long thing he was carrying are curtain rods for his boarding room in the Oak Cliff section of Dallas, Texas. But when the FBI interviewed Oswald and everyone who spoke to him that day, the man who drove him to work stated that Oswald put the long sack in the back seat, not his lap, like he was trying to say. He went on to say that the only thing he took to work that day was his lunch. Stated by the Globe and Mail, there were 3 gunshots from the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository, where Oswald worked there as a handyman. Most of the people who worked at the Texas School Book Depository employees did learn at Friday morning that the motorcade would pass the building, said IT manager Ralph Schuster. With this information, it supports that Oswald did in fact know about the change in the Perot route and know exactly what his plan was going to be. The second thing I want to discuss is that the movement of Kennedy's head with the impact of the bullets. If you watch carefully of the video, it is clear that you see the president's head turn from the shock that his ear was off his head, and then his head just went straight down off to the First Lady's lap. According to Beth Frucklin, Business Insider author, states that the second shot is fired, causing Kennedy to go into the Thornburns position. This is a common neurological response to spinal damage, going back to the point that the gunshot was from the back of him, not the side view. Another point to think of this is the fact that Lee Harvey Oswald was murdered 2 days later by Jack Ruby in the basement of the Dallas police station. One question I want you to ask yourself is, why would Ruby shoot Oswald if he did not do it, especially alone? The History Channel editors say that Jack Ruby's motive was that Oswald assassinated the president.
President Kennedy's motorcade route. Conspiracy theorists argue whether it was truly changed. Jim Garrison, author of On the Trail of the Assassins, states that he found the original plans for the parade route that were published to the public in the Dallas Morning News, and that it was supposed to head directly down Main Street had it not decided to redirect. IT manager Ralph Schuster wrote an online article saying there was no way for Lee Harvey Oswald to know prior that the route was changed, considering even FBI agent James Hosty, who himself participated in the advanced planning of the Dallas trip, didn't even know about the route change until the day before the parade. This implies that Oswald and his team had a man on the inside of the president's security team, whether it was on his Secret Service team or a part of the Dallas Police Department. There had been no other way to know that the change was made so the motorcade would pass the Texas School Book Depository, Oswald's place of work. A controversial topic of the assassination of President John F. Kennedy was the way his head was shown to move after being hit with a bullet in the famous Zapruder film, filmed by Abraham Zapruder. After being analyzed from scientists all across the United States, the film distinctly shows the president's head is thrown backwards as the front right side of his head appears to explode with blood, thus suggesting the critics of the Warren Commission that the bullet did indeed come from the front rather than behind Kennedy. Many argue that the head jerking backwards is due to kinetic energy. However, according to James Barger, Scott Robinson, Edward Schmidt, and Jared Wolf's in-depth analysis using both tape and eyewitnesses, they conclude that the third shot, fired approximately 7.6 seconds after the initial shot, came from behind the grassy knoll due to the sounds and echoes of the muzzle blast. Their conclusion also states that immediately after this third shot is fired, Sheriff Bill Decker ordered Dallas officers to the railroad tracks behind the fence of the grassy knoll. This order proves that based on the eye and ear witness, Decker believed the shooter to be in the area of the grassy knoll, having just provided Oswald with assistance in killing the president. More breaking news rang out on November 24th, only 2 days after President Kennedy's assassination. Jack Ruby emerged from the gathered crowd and shot Lee Harvey Oswald on live television with a concealed .38 caliber revolver. Ruby later revealed that he had no choice because he had bosses just like everyone else. Ruby clearly stated that he was ordered to kill Oswald, and theorists exclaimed that it was to cover up a larger conspiracy. People theorized that Ruby and others planned to assassinate Oswald so he wouldn't reveal any names, plans, locations, or any other information to the police that would cause suspicion in their favor. They only wanted to protect themselves, and killing Oswald was the best way they saw fit to do so. That's all we have time for today. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and we will see you on the next segment of Point Counterpoint.